So as you can see, I came out from John Wick Part 3, the latest film of the John Wick franchise. For those who doesn't know, the John Wick franchise is the Lionsgate films that is about this guy named John Wick, played by Keanu Reeves, who he was a former assassin who belonged to this legion of assassins in a world that is full of assassins, lots of code of honors, and we just see his ordeal where from the first movie, he tried to retire, but later his dog gets killed because it was kind of like the memento from his wife, and then he goes out on revenge, and basically from that point he becomes kind of like the enemy of the Legion of Assassins, and at this point. That, I will say, what is John Wick in a nutshell on top of my head. But trust me that this movie, that this franchise is a little bit more than that, I will say. A little bit of a brief history about me and John Wick. One of the biggest regrets that I have in movie-going experiences is that I haven't seen John Wick, the first movie, in the movie theater. But I began to hear lots of good things about it. Until the month that John Wick 2 was going to show up on movie theaters, I decided, okay, I'll give it a try. I rented John Wick 1, and I came out loving it. I was really entertained. And then we got John Wick Part 2, which basically is kind of like the continuation. And I like it. I like it not as much as the first one, but it did its job. It did set up kind of like a new threat for John Wick, and I kind of like a mild spoilers because obviously I have to talk about Part 3. The movie ends with John Wick becoming a target for the assassin. He becomes a wanted man, an excommunicado. For what I think that's the term that they call for the assassins there, because, well, I don't exactly remember a lot of the lore of the John Wick universe, but I'll tell you, it's awesome. So yeah, Chapter 3 is the continuation to that. John Wick is on the run, and he has a bounty on his head, and so technically the whole movie is just him trying to stay alive, battling everyone, and trying to find out a way to get out of there. For a 2-hour film that doesn't have too much of character development, meaning of lives, or anything, this movie was a lot of fun. It was totally entertaining. I mean, if Detective Pikachu is entertaining just because of the Pokemons, at least Detective Pikachu has some kind of theme and story that they try to build. John Wick isn't one of that compared to Detective Pikachu. Because John Wick, it pretty much is a kind of like a B-movie experience. You just go there for the sake of watching kind of like a superhuman assassin kick everyone's butt. And by the way, yes, there's a lot of blood. There's a lot of violence. There's a lot of kills. There's a lot of guns. So if you're sensible to that, you're not gonna find this movie appealing. But that's okay, because honestly, in a world of assassins, that's technically their life. And if you kind of watch movies like that, man, I cannot praise enough the fighting choreography that it has, because it's really impressive. It's probably the fighting choreography of this year kind of comes on par with the Avengers. Well, on par, I'd say, because John Wick has a lot of fighting scenes, but they're impressive. They're bloody. They're violent. Actually, it's so violent that I was sitting next to a couple, and the whole movie, that couple, they have their hands held together, almost like they were freaking out about it. But still, the audience was entertained. They laughed at moments. We were pretty happy. I was technically satisfied. Like I was saying, John Wick Part 3, like I established, is that it takes place right after John Wick Part 2. And in this movie, it's technically it also we follow John Wick trying to find some kind of redemption and peace on his mind, and it's not gonna be easy when he's being attacked in every corner where he goes. Oh, trust me, the poor guy, he cannot even take a breather because every single corner that he goes, everyone's gonna kill him. And the movie not only follows just him and trying to get away with the assassins, but you can see him trying to find trying to look for help, that they reluctantly help him because of his reputation or because people they just do like him. Um, and man, that it feels a little bit bittersweet about going there, seeing how wherever he goes, and people are either rejecting him or reluctantly helping him, but they think that okay, I did you this favor, I'm not gonna help you anymore. It's kind of sad, and but still, John Wick kind of knows. He knows about the consequences, and in a way, he takes it. He takes it like a man. And what else I can say about this? So that's basically the closest thing I can say about some kind of thematic on the John Wick universe. Let's talk a little bit about the world of John Wick, in which I still really like the lore in it. I really like that the world of John Wick is basically kind of like this fantastic mafia slash assassin guild or leash that they go around into the cities. It's kind of like in a way like its own James Bond like style storylines. What and how they communicate to each other, how they make negotiations, how they betray each other, how they take everything with very strict but at the same time sophisticated manner, that it may be a violent world, but it's still at the same time eloquent that is really entertaining. Especially the scenes where on one of the main places of this world, which is none other than the Continental Hotel, which is probably, if it wasn't for the assassins, this is probably gonna be kind of like the best hotel in the whole world. Man. And oh, and also, oh yeah, we get to see glimpses of dogs. Let's say there are dogs in this movie. We also see John Wick's new dog that he get from at the end from the chapter 1. I gotta admit, they're cute. At least they give us a little bit of cuteness on this John Wick universe. And the acting, I'll say, the acting impeccable. This movie kind of proves that it doesn't matter if Keanu Reeves can be a little bit too unemotional in many movies that he is. But when you put him in the correct role, he does great. I mean, compare John Wick to the other movie that Keanu Reeves starred, which is none other than Replicas. Although in Replicas, I blame more the direction and the writing more than him. But what I mean is that use him well, use him in the correct roles, and you're gonna get a good Keanu Reeves movie. For everyone else, they also did great. They also did great on their job. And it also helped that you get a lot of amazing choreography in using assassin skills, martial arts skills. And it really helps that there are really top-notch sound effects because thanks to the whole this whole choreography, you see people getting punched, kicked, slashed, and the sound effects, you feel it. I mean, you can feel the pain that happens during the whole trajectory of this film. And if that's not entertaining enough, I can say I can help you on this one. Alright, let's give a little bit of negativity to this movie. Again, to reduce a little bit the ego, because I like to not overhype a movie. Sometimes they're not perfect. Like in this case, John Wick Chapter 3 is, well, I will say that it's a big improvement from Chapter 2. The story is technically, well, kind of bare bone. But it's bare bone because it's been already established in Chapter 1 and Chapter 2. Everything you need to know about the characters, everything you need to know about everything else. And so technically this is a movie that cannot be watched unless you watch Chapter 1 and Chapter 2. And if you go through Chapter 3 without knowing anything about this world of John Wick, you're gonna get mildly lost. Kind of like how I had this experience when I watched Mission Impossible last year. When I began to watch that movie without knowing almost anything about the Mission Impossible franchise, at least the basics. So, and also don't expect to find kind of like the meaning of life, or you are very good characters that you're gonna find them 100% compassionate. This is a movie that you have to be mostly on the mind of an assassin, in which it is about honor, it's about loyalty, it's about doing what you're supposed to do, and sometimes but this movie also gives out a little bit of the thematic about where your loyalty lies. You should be loyal to the higher-ups or loyal to yourself and your friends. It's not 100% established. And speaking of establishment, don't get fooled. Just because it's called Chapter 3 and movies most of the time comes in 3, I warn you that this movie is not a final chapter. Actually, it ends a little bit on a cliffhanger. I'm not gonna say what happened exactly, but I'll say only one thing for John Wick. This movie is just technically the declaration of war. Yep, this movie is the start of the war. I don't know how many John Wick movies there's gonna be. Maybe they're gonna make 6 movies or 4 movies. But as long as they keep on being entertaining and consistent enough on their stories and the characters, you're gonna get a lot of it from John Wick. So basically, what I'm saying is that if you like John Wick like I do, check it out. Really check it out. It's worth it. It's a total violent fun pack of this film. Well, that's all I have to say about John Wick Chapter 3, so I think it is time for me to close. Oh, actually, no. I did finish talking about John Wick Chapter 3, but I want to make an announcement for right now, guys. Here goes. In the next couple of weeks, probably 2 or 3 weeks, my movie reviews of the upcoming movies are gonna be delayed. I'm not sure. So So what I'm saying is that you're not gonna. I'm not gonna go into the regular movie screenings for a while. The movie review are gonna come out late, and now you might be wondering why. Well, the answer is easy, because starting next week, Vlogging Plaza is going traveling. So, but that doesn't mean that I'm ending. That means that in the near future, the Blogging Plaza will go to Japan.